The standard of living in the United States has significantly declined in recent years, with Americans experiencing a notable loss in their purchasing power. This decline, which is the most significant since data tracking began in 2007, has been particularly pronounced over the past 3 years. Between 1971 and 2023, the US dollar has seen a staggering 98% reduction in its purchasing power, with 35% of this decline occurring from 2013 to 2023. Before going further, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave us a like below this video. The onset of the pandemic exacerbated this situation, causing the average American to lose approximately $1,806 in annual disposable income due to the rapid increase in living costs. This increase has affected essentials like housing, car loans, gasoline, and food, leading to the sharpest rise in these costs in nearly 5 decades. We would love to hear your thoughts about this below in the comments. Despite recent increases in hourly wages, a significant majority of American workers, approximately 73%, are now taking home less income when adjusted for today's cost of living. This leaves them with limited funds for discretionary spending and, more importantly, for saving towards retirement. Low and middle income earners are bearing the brunt of this financial strain, with 58% of individuals earning between $25,000 and $75,000 annually reporting that they've had to downsize their lifestyles since 2020, marking the most significant decline in the US standard of living since 1970. The pandemic-induced economic downturn, coupled with subsequent inflationary pressures, led to a 9.8% median income drop when adjusted for current macroeconomic factors. Despite government officials citing declining inflation as a sign of economic growth, key components of the Consumer Price Index, including grocery prices, continue to rise to record levels. This situation is unusual in a growing economy where disposable income is typically on the rise. For retirees, this scenario has been nothing short of a nightmare. Data from the National Institute on Retirement Security reveals that 44% of older Americans who retired in the past 3 years have been forced to return to work due to insufficient savings. The Bureau of Labor Statistics has shown a 53.7% growth in the number of people aged 75 and older in the labor force from 2012 to 2022, with a projected increase of 96.5% between 2023 and 2033. This age group is the only one expected to expand its share of the workforce, growing from 8.9% in 2020 to nearly 14% in 2030. The reality is that many seniors did not anticipate the rapid and substantial rise in the cost of living, leading to a shortfall in their retirement savings. This is particularly true for those who did not have jobs with defined benefit pensions or 401(k) matching programs. According to a report by the Joint Economic Committee, only 35% of Americans aged 55 to 64 have pension or retirement savings held in a 401(k) or IRA. To provide some context, it's recommended that individuals should have retirement savings equivalent to 6 times their current income by the time they reach the age of 50. However, even among Americans aged 55 to 64 who do have retirement savings, the median account balance is a meager $54,000, as indicated in the report. This highlights a critical issue because for many seniors, working beyond the age of 65 isn't a feasible option. Some individuals, particularly those in physically demanding fields such as delivery, construction, janitorial work, caregiving, nursing, and farming, may not be physically capable of continuing to work beyond the traditional retirement age, as noted by the researchers. Others might need to leave the workforce to provide caregiving duties, while extending one's working years might offer some relief to the growing retirement insecurity crisis. It's not a comprehensive solution, as emphasized by the authors of the report. Instead, policymakers should focus on creating higher quality job opportunities for older workers while also ensuring that those who can no longer work have the financial security to retire comfortably. Unfortunately, the prospects for such change may be challenging. Social security funds are at risk of depletion before the end of the decade, and financial volatility has eroded roughly 28% of 401(k) accounts since 2021. These factors only increase the likelihood that more Americans will face financial insecurity during their retirement years. Around 61% of Americans aged 65 to 75 who have returned to the labor force in recent years expressed doubts about having enough money to cover their basic monthly expenses if they stop working, according to data from the National Institute on Retirement Security, NIRS. Additionally, 51% of consumers aged 45 to 75 feel that they lack sufficient retirement savings to sustain their lifetime needs. The NIRS estimates that approximately 27 million people nearing retirement age will experience a decline in their standard of living in retirement. Similarly, researchers at the Boston College Center for Retirement Research predict that at least 50% of the 55.8 million Americans aged 65 or older will be unable to maintain their previous standard of living once they retire, even if they work until the age of 65. The situation underscores the urgent need to reform the retirement system and ensure that employer plan coverage is universal. Continuous coverage is crucial for workers to accumulate adequate resources to support their accustomed standard of living before retiring, as concluded in the study. Examining the statistics, it becomes alarmingly evident that a significant portion of American workers is at risk of facing financial hardship in retirement. An April survey conducted by the Alliance for Lifetime Income, ALI, a nonprofit organization focused on retirement education, revealed that individuals across various income groups and generations are vulnerable to running out of money in retirement. The survey findings highlight the grim retirement prospects for what is often referred to as the forgotten generation. For instance, the typical Generation X household, born between 1965 and 1980, has only around $40,000 saved for retirement, with the bottom half of savers having just a few $1,000s put away. Moreover, the US Census data shows that nearly half of baby boomers and more than half of all workers have zero savings for their retirement. A May opinion poll also found that only 39% of Americans anticipate a comfortable retirement, marking a 17% decrease from 2019 levels. An analysis by Wealth Wizards further reveals that since January 2021, 1 in 3 savers has transitioned from expecting a moderate retirement lifestyle to a minimal one. In Pompano, Florida, there's a situation where some elderly residents find themselves seeking assistance at the Blessings Food Pantry, which operates in affiliation with Christ Church United Methodist. Among them are grandparents who have taken on the responsibility of raising their grandchildren, tapping into their own savings to provide them with food and clothing, even when they can hardly afford it themselves. Yvonne Womack, who leads the team there, mentions that some seniors are forced to make tough choices, like sacrificing their own meals to cover the costs of necessary medical prescriptions. Additionally, there are seniors who rely on fixed Social Security checks, which have not seen an increase in several years, while the prices of essential items like food and gasoline have soared. This situation is also affecting younger generations, who are often delaying their retirement savings until later than recommended by financial experts. Consequently, when they approach retirement age, they might find themselves with even less savings than previous generations like the baby boomers and Generation X, perpetuating a cycle of financial insecurity. The dream of retiring at the age of 65 seems increasingly elusive for most Americans. Each generation appears to be less financially stable than the one that came before it, contributing to the shrinking US middle class and the scarcity of well-paying job opportunities. Planning for a financially secure future has become a distant reality for many who are currently struggling to make ends meet. Ultimately, this situation leaves us with 2 unappealing options: either working until the end of our lives or risking poverty during our senior years, even after dedicating our entire lives to our careers. At its core, this reflects the decline of the American economy and underscores the urgent need for a comprehensive overhaul of our retirement system.